Hey, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I've got a different video for us here today. This isn't something I ever expected I would be doing here, but I just read something that was a great book, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it, do like kind of a quasi review, I guess you could say. And that book is Depth Charge. Let me see if we can see it here. It's by Jason Heaton, and it is a great book. In fact, I'll leave it just like that for this video here. Fantastic book. I've been a big fan of action, thriller, adventure novels ever since my dad brought me home the book Deep Six by Clive Cussler when I was probably 14 years old. And I read Deep Six, and I was just hooked on the kind of more the action thriller novels that are leaning kind of more towards men as their overall genre or demographic, I guess you could say. And I've actually been following Jason Heaton on Instagram for quite a while now, probably a little bit over a year, maybe even 2 years, because I'm a big watch fanatic. What I'm wearing today is a Yeni Caribbean 300, their 50th anniversary reissue of it. It's a dive watch, and it was Clive Cussler and his main character Dirk Pitt, who wore a Doxa sub, that got me kind of interested in watches to begin with. The way that Clive would always describe the watch that Dirk Pitt, his main character, was wearing. I just loved the way he described it, how Dirk would look at the orange face and everything. And I thought, man, that's an interesting relationship to have with a watch. And then you get, kind of your first watch, or your first watch that it actually matters to you, that you've picked up as an enthusiast. And you do fall in love with it. You do create these relationships with your watches. And that's part of how I found Jason to begin with, the author, on Instagram, because he's a big watch guy. He's written about watches. And so I'm following him. He's got a really cool Instagram aesthetic in terms of, this mix between watches and travel and adventure and photography and all that stuff. And I just think it's a cool life that he's got. And then I started seeing him posting about his novel here, and I mean, you just look at the cover, and the cover is so cool. A diver, up here in the corner, and this is actually a map that's on the first page of Sri Lanka. Here is what this big mass is. So he's kind of diving off the coast of Sri Lanka there. And I saw him post a picture of this, and I was like, I knew immediately that it was going to be cool, that it was going to be, similar to Ian Fleming's James Bond, Clive Cussler's Dirk Pitt, all the other kind of action thriller novels out there, and it did not disappoint. Fantastic book. I read it in just over 3 days, which is the fastest I've ever read a book probably in my life, maybe, with the exception of some shorter ones. But I mean, he pulls you in, Jason pulls you in from the very beginning, and you want to keep turning the pages. It's hard to put down. And, I'm just beyond glad that I picked it up. The main character, Julian Tusk is his name, or Tusker, as he goes by in the book, is a fantastic character. And one of the things that I like about both Ian Fleming and Clive Cussler is that they seem to their main characters, James Bond and Dirk Pitt, you get the sense that and I mean, this is for sure been confirmed about James Bond, but James Bond was who Ian Fleming saw as himself, and kind of had his life maybe been a little bit different, or I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but it's one of those things where the character, you can tell, is is somebody that Jason himself sees himself as. And it was the same with Clive Cussler and Dirk Pitt, just as it was with James Bond and Ian Fleming. It was almost their alter egos, right? Their aliases, their who they saw themselves as in their dreams and their hopes and everything like that. And you can tell that just based on, I'm talking here like I know Jason, and I don't. I've never met him, but based on what I've seen of his on Instagram and heard him talk about in podcasts and everything like that, God, I can't believe I'm saying and everything like that. You can tell that he embodies a little bit of Tusker, and I think that's awesome. That really helps you identify with the character yourself when the main character is so like real, I guess you could say. And so it really is a fantastic book, written in the style of Cussler, written in the style of Fleming and all those other, adventure writers, thriller writers, whatever you want to call them. But it's not like a copy of them. I never once while reading this novel felt as if he was hacking on these already great authors and their great characters. It was almost like a love letter to them, where it was his own writing, his own style, but that same grip of intensity and that hook that you get hooked on with reading it. You just don't want to put it down. So it's a fantastic book, diving on shipwrecks, chasing beautiful women, being in, paradise more or less. I would totally recommend reading this. And I love I'm not going to give any spoilers away here because I want everybody to read it who's interested in it. But one of the things I loved about it, and following kind of in the style of Cussler himself, is there's a few things in there that I know are part of Jason's life, and one of them is the watch that the main character Tusker wears, which is an Aquastar. I believe it's an Aquastar. And I actually just read the acknowledgments at the very back of the book, and Jason says that somebody gave him that Aquastar after they knew it was going to be the watch in the book. So maybe he didn't have it and then he was given to him, but I've seen him wearing it on Instagram. So I know he at least has a connection to that watch, which is really cool. The other thing that I loved about it was he puts his own car in the book, which is fantastic. I'm pretty sure it's his car, which is a light blue colored 70s Land Rover. And I know for a fact that he has one of those because I've seen it on his Instagram before as well. And man, when I first read that, when that car made its first appearance in the book, I just had the biggest smile on my face. I thought it was fantastic that he added that in there. So many great things about this book. So many Easter eggs in here. If you're a watch fan, there's mentions of different watches in there, some of which I have, like the old Seiko diver. I've got one of those. So I love seeing that in there. I mean, I got the biggest smile on my face right now just talking about this book. I'm probably going to read it again. Might give it to my brother to read. He's of a good age to where this, I think, would really hook him in and get him started on the adventure novels. But I'm really excited about this book. I'm gonna recommend it to all of my friends. Anybody interested in a good novel, Depth Charge is the way to go, and I really hope that Jason isn't done. I hope this wasn't a one-hit wonder, because the main character, Tusker, he's got the makings of a Dirk Pitt or a James Bond himself, and I think that is really great. The other thing I wanted to mention actually about this, which I found to be probably a challenge for the author, Jason, both with James Bond and Dirk Pitt, the Ian Fleming and Clive Cussler heroes, both of them have ties to government agencies, right? You got James Bond, secret agent working for MI6. Dirk Pitt works for NUMA, the National Underwater and Marine Agency. And so with those characters and with that connection to the government, the authors tend to have a very large spectrum of resources to draw from in terms of, I mean, you know, you think about James Bond with all his gadgets that are supplied to him by MI6, and in some of the Clive Cussler novels, you know, his connections with the government really help him out in certain areas and get him out of trouble if he needs to get out of trouble and things like that. And Tusker is not a government agent or doesn't work for the government. He's a college professor, an archaeologist, and I thought that Jason did a great job of, you know, it's easy to make things up about the government, right? And say, oh, here's a watch that shoots laser beams, or, you know, call us, we've got 30 naval ships just around the corner ready for battle, whatever it is. It's so easy when you have those large resources to just kind of fluff things up, add things in there where, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, both of those authors produce great books and they're really fun to read. But you got to think that with what Jason did by not having his main character be tied to a government agency, he really narrowed his pool of resources for his main character. And I thought he just did a great job of, you know, putting his character in situations that normally a James Bond or a Dirk Pitt, you know, they would have backup right there waiting for him, or they would have an exit plan or something like that. And Tusker didn't have that. And so my, you know, big kudos to Jason for kind of putting himself in a smaller box in terms of what resources his main character would have at his disposal. And so overall, I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. I'm going to write a good review about it online. Like I said, I'm going to recommend it to everybody. So that's all I got to say about that. I know it wasn't a video that I normally produce on this channel, but I was inspired to you know, do this little talking review on it. I just can't speak highly enough of it, and I really hope, like I said, I really hope we aren't done seeing Tusker. I think that there's a whole series here. I really do. I really think that Jason is going to be able to get. I mean, I need at least one more, Jason. I need at least one more. You got to give me that, and hopefully you can give me 30 more, like Cussler and Fleming have of theirs, and all that good stuff. So, anyways, guys, everybody, thanks for watching. Go out, buy the book, read the book, get it on Kindle, get it on Amazon. I don't know if it's available at local bookstores, but find it. It's cheap. It's like 10, 15 bucks, something like that. Buy it, read it, give it to somebody else to read, and enjoy living life, man. Enjoy the adventures you can take yourself on in your mind. I mean, I myself, I have an alter ego character that I like to think would be doing something like Tusker did, or like Dirk Pitt or James Bond. So, and I think we all have that in us. And when you read something like that, like I said, I've got a huge smile on my face thinking about it. I think he did a great job, and I'm really happy to have read it, and I'm really happy to support it. And yeah, it's got all the good stuff, guys. It's got danger, it's got action, it's got adventure, it's got rivalries, it's got death, it's got sex, it's got drinks on the beach, it's got everything you could possibly want in a good action novel. So, Depth Charge, Jason Heaton, just came out. Buy it, read it, love it. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one.